Hello, Chuparuba.
Yeah.
I could have asked you just a second before how to really pronounce it, but you can say it now. Thank you for your time today. Really nice to have you. Can you please introduce yourself to the audience and say who you are, what you do, and maybe a little bit of where you're coming from music-wise?
Well, I'm Manny from Chupahuba.
Chupa Hoopa.
I'm trying to figure out how you said it because it sounded a lot better than when we say it. Chuparuba. That's how we say it. And I'm
Okay.
Manny. I sing and play a few other instruments on most of the songs.
Yep, I'm Richard. It's basically a two-minute show over here. Again, that's essentially Chuparuba. It's us two doing most of the work, with the exception of the drums, right? We always make sure to have drummers
Program a
that
little
come in
bit.
and help us out. And this last album that we did, it was Kevin. On the previous album, our first album, it was AJ. But other than that, we take care of most of the work. Now, we've known each other for honestly most of our lives now, right?
High
We
school.
literally met back in high school. This was, we're sorry to say this was about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Exactly. So
Take
we
a
met
little-
quite a long time ago. Been collaborating on music on and off for most of our lives together. It's funny that even though we have known each other this long, it actually took on up to about 3, 4 years ago where we actually formed a project together, right? Chuparuba.
Hmm.
Prior to that, we would work together a lot on his project. He would help me out a lot on my projects. But this is actually the first project where we said, okay, let's do something together. It's about damn time we do
Yeah.
something together. Now, in terms of other information, our backgrounds here and there, Manny in particular has been doing a lot of work for film and TV and that sort of stuff. A lot of, it's called syncing in this industry. If musicians are listening to this, they know what we're talking about. If not, basically all that music that you hear on television, on film, that sort of stuff. Manny does a lot of work in that
And
regard.
that's how we started as a band.
As a-
I
Yeah.
asked Richard to help me out with some songs that the publisher needed for a TV show, and they needed some rock songs. We started doing rock together, and then took on a different form eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Basically, it was a television show that, if I'm
It
not
was
mistaken,
Detroit Steel.
right? It was a car show, and they wanted some good old rock and roll. Manny reached out and said, "Look, let's get AJ, our good friend. Let's get us three in a room and do some rock music as opposed to just the studio work that we normally do, right?" And we did, and we had so much fun putting 3, 4 tracks for that, which mostly were accepted into television. I'm sure they're still being played somewhere, even though we don't make an effort to actually watch the shows that the music lands on.
I never saw it.
It's out there, but we had so much fun that we said, "Look, why don't we do 10 more and write an album?"
Mhm.
And that was our debut album, and it's been so much fun that we just don't want to stop doing it, and here we are.
Cool. Yeah. So you both are kind of also solo artists, right? I know you are Darko Richards,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yeah, that's how I go
Um,
by, Darko Richards.
Exactly, and I played you before in my radio show, so that's why I was like, oh man, I didn't realize it right away that I kind of know you and played your songs before, so but now I'm a little bit slow sometimes, and
No, no, no. I thank you for that. I don't expect you're actually not the first person to tell me that, right? Wait a minute, Darko Richards is 50% of Chuparuba. I'm not trying for anybody to know. I send my music out. If you like it, play it, and I appreciate it. I thank you for that. Whether it's my solo stuff or the Chuparuba stuff that we do, but yeah, you did put it together. It's the same guy.
I'm really clever, huh? No, but I think I got you because I mean basically what I'm hearing from you is the music has to speak for itself, and it doesn't matter, I mean it matters who makes it, but Chuparupa is a new project, and it kind of has to find its own footing, its own grounding, and it's not Darko Richards. It's something else, and I can clearly see that. But before we dive into that, I have a question. The name. What does it mean? Where does it come from? Sorry, this is. I think you heard it before, this question, and I try not to be a normal interviewer, as I told you beforehand. But I need to know. I don't get it. Where does this name come from?
The perverted made-up word, combining chupa, which in Spanish means suck, and ruba, which is a little bit of a throw off of rub. So suck and rub.
Suck and rub. Okay. Okay, good.
So look at that.
I will not dig deeper here. Let's leave it like this.
The lyrics explain it all. If you pay attention to the lyrics, that's kind of a theme.
Yeah, this is also one thing I saw in your short bio you put in for Chuparuba, that you it's kind of very sexual, your content, and is it a little bit more like sex sells, or do you have some other things about it?
Personality thing and rock and roll in general.
Can you come a little bit closer to the microphone? Sorry for that.
No problem. I was just saying that it's just rock and roll in general is very sexual, and that's something that all humans have inside them. So we express it. That's one of the things that we express through our lyrics. It is. Yeah,
that's one way of putting it. The way I like to put it is he's a freak and he writes lyrics.
Okay,
that would be another way of putting it.
That's the easy point here. No, I'm completely with you. You know, I mean, rock and roll by itself, from if I'm not mistaken, is a moniker for sex. You know, rock and roll. This is how a description of sex, how the sexual act. So it's absolutely fine. And I once saw a documentary about Elvis and the controversy because he used his his hips to and I mean we came a long way since shaking your hips was kind of considered a really sexual act or something, you know. I mean, today with OnlyFans and stuff, there's a whole new ball game out there. When did Chuparuba start? When did the whole thing got together?
Yeah,
2 years ago.
2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago.
I don't even know what year that.
Yeah, give or take. I believe our first album was 2018, right? So it was exactly 2 years ago that it was released. Again, it was put together just a few months prior to that. Like we said earlier, it began with a TV show, writing music for that TV show, and then we just kept going. And honestly, we haven't stopped working on music the last 2-3 years for this project. Yeah, so it's not, again, even though we know each other for 20 years, Chuparuba started 2, maybe 3 years ago at most,
more or less.
Okay, and so you have I should have checked this before. So you have one record out at the moment, or let's see, Chuparuba. Oh man, it's not easy. You know what? One thing that's not easy. It's how to type it. Chuparu. Now I got it. Chuparuba. And I see. No, you have a few more out. You have like a few singles and an EP and a whole album from 2018, right? And this was the first one.
Got it. That's it. Yep. So it's basically 2 albums now. The singles that you see recently were the first 2 tracks from the second album. So we have a first album that's 13 tracks, and now we just released the second one. I guess we can call it an EP because it's 6 tracks. And, that's what we have out so far. We are currently working. Prior to this conversation, we were just working on it, and when we hang up, we're going to keep working on it. We just released the second one. We're already working on the third one because we don't know what else to do with our lives other than write music.
Poor guys. Can you still get the microphone a little bit closer? I'm really sorry for. I mean, I can hear you, but it's really there's a dysmorphia. You know, I mean, I'm much louder than you, so for the listeners later, it will be tougher to discern.
Send me the audio. I'll compress it.
Yeah, we can make a remix out of it.
How's that? Can you hear us a little better?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit better now. Okay, so yeah, so you're working on the third album right now, if I heard this right.
Yep, that's correct. We just released the second one, but we're already working on the third one. We have about 6-7 tracks in the works.
Okay. Oh man, I'm really sorry. It's still not so perfect.
It keeps dropping out. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Now it's good. Now it's good.
I know.
Back down.
Don't go too far. Leave it there.
How about I just exit and just stay there? Stay there.
Is that better? I'm sure it is.
Oh, this is much better now.
But for some reason, it keeps lowering it automatically, right?
Now it's gone bad again. Oh, okay.
Back to the computer audio.
Yeah, maybe switch back to the computer audio because it's very low, and I fear that listeners later on as a podcast we will not follow it if we cannot hear you right.
Can you hear us right now?
Yes, now it's much better.
All right, so we'll just go with that, and that way we get the headphones off and we sweat less. So
okay, I hear you. It's getting hot in here. Okay, so. Okay, this is one of the questions you don't have to answer if you don't want to, of course. I told you beforehand this should be a friendly conversation, and I don't want to, pry too much into your private life. But are you already living from your music, or do you have other jobs on the side?
Definitely not from this project. I make money doing the stuff for television, but we don't tour. We're just making music for fun. That's what Chuparuba is doing. We're attempting to push it. If it becomes something, that'll be great. That's my main project. But we don't know. Not from Chuparuba. Not easy these days.
Yeah, I mean these days particularly. But I mean, as you started 2018, were there any plans to do this live?
Not really. Not that we have anything against it, right? But because he does a lot of work for music, for television, and I produce not just my solo stuff. I like to produce other artists. The truth is, we're both kind of studio junkies.
Plus, we got kids. To be even more serious about it, yeah, he has 2 kids. I have a kid too. We're not gonna leave on tour unless there's a reason to.
Right. But other than that also, again, I think you would agree with me. I don't know. That we actually, unlike a lot of rock musicians, we really get our most fun, right? The most enjoyment that we get, it's in the studio. We're studio junkies.
It's like
of course, we want to play live. We don't mind it. But whatever we get, this is where we get our pleasure. Now, if somebody comes to us with an opportunity to hit the road, of course, we're not going to say no to that.
Right.
But yeah, this is literally where we get the most enjoyment. It's being in the studio.
Okay, that's actually not so. I mean, I get your point and I understand it. It's you're kind of a music smith. You're putting things together and see how things work. But I also know the other side because being on stage and getting the energy back from the audience and while you perform. This is what most. No, not more. I mean, you're the exception. It's more what most people want. Kind of the raw emotions back from the audience. So I think you're a special kind of breed that you enjoy the studio work more. I get it, of course. It's easier because you can like you just said, you set your hours. You be home with your family because you can say, okay, we can finish this tomorrow or something. When you are on tour, you're on stage and you're gone, and it's not like you can go home every night and have dinner with your family.
Right. It still would be a lot of fun to go on tour. I would love to be on stage, but yeah, we enjoy writing. The writing process is what really gets us. That's why we do music, and we do the writing in the studio. So that's why we always enjoy the studio more.
Yeah, I mean, we've been approached whether for this project or other projects. Hey, come out and do a show. I think if it's this type of show, that type of show. Again, unless it's a really, really big opportunity that we feel like this is a no-brainer. We got to take this. We're just not. I know it's hard to hear that from rock musicians, but we're not searching that. That's not something that really, really gets us off. While, hey, I got this new song. Manny, what do you think? Or he sent it to me. I'm writing a new song. Want to lay some stuff on it. For whatever reason, we're really more drawn to that. As a matter of fact, even buddies of ours sometimes are like, let's jam, because we're up here in the studio upstairs, but we have a whole big room downstairs. And even jamming like that, of course, is fun for us. But man, we get a lot more pleasure out of just composing music and putting those pieces together. And as soon as we're done with a song, we have an itch to write another one. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I really don't know.
Yep.
It's what we both love. It really is.
Okay. No, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's neither bad nor good. It's just the way you do it, and that's absolutely fine. That's what I really love in music. There is no right or wrong. There is just you like it or you don't like it. You know, there is no middle ground, basically. I mean, of course, you know, you can produce it badly, or you can do, you know, you can, I mean, I'm allowed to say it, fuck up and don't hit the notes right or something, you know, but of course this is possible. So this is wrong. But on the other hand, you know, do whatever you like. And if you like producing more, you know, why go out? Because I'm also with you in this regard, that not only with your family, also if you're a small act, you know, you have to lug your own stuff around, and you have to set up everything, and you know, you sleep in shitty hotel rooms, and or on the in the car, even worse, you know. So you know, it's not so glamorous when you have a certain level, of course, you know, then yeah, you know, you can trash your hotel room, but you have to kind of get there first. And yeah, so no, I'm with you. It's just it's not very often that I hear that, you know.
We're aware of that. We get it. We hear that even from our fellow you know, local colleagues, scene, local musicians. Hey, you guys are doing great stuff. Come out and play a show with us. Not really, not right now. Again, we were not going to say no to a decent, a good opportunity. We would not say no. We'll be happy to put the show together. And we even talk about it sometimes when we're composing music. Hey, if we got to play, if and when we play this live, we're putting ourselves in a tough spot here, right? We don't think in terms of a traditional rock band, 4-piece, 5-piece. We're just laying out whatever we think is right. And when we get to the point to play it live, that's going to be quite a challenge.
It's going to be a headache.
Yeah, exactly. Because yeah, this would, you know, kind of be my next question. How would you present it live? Because as you said in the beginning, you had I mean, you playing everything at the moment, and then you just have a drummer to put in, you know, real drums. So I mean, you need to practice. You need to see what can come from a backing track, what needs to come in live, and how you make it that it's not sterile. You know, that it's kind of like you hit play and then just do a little bit and sing and jump around or whatever. So okay, but actually, you know, I think I can see that in your position it's actually quite nice, because you're not searching for it. You're making your music, and like we said in the beginning, you're letting your music talk for yourself. And if somebody is interested in you and gives you a nice opportunity, you know, come out and play for this in this festival, then you will say, oh man, this is really, you know, we can get a few new fans here, and really do something, you know, have an impact. And then you will consider things. But yeah, no, I think you're in a very lucky and comfortable position that you're not looking for it. But if it happens, all the best.
You got it 100%. That's exactly our mindset. It has been for some years now, and I don't foresee it changing. I mean, who knows? I don't know. Maybe we wake up tomorrow and we get this crazy urge to get on a stage.
I've kind of had it lately.
You've kind of had it lately, and I think you're now helping.
The songs that we're writing now are just pumping me up to. I want to hear these songs live, performed live. Right? So I'm getting the itch.
Yeah, maybe we'll get there, but it hasn't quite gotten there yet. But I think now with this conversation even more so, and with Manny saying maybe we'll give it a little more thought. But again, that's secondary to the primary, which is being in the studio, composing new music.
Right. No, and this is absolutely fine, because you know, I mean, you are both seasoned musicians, and it's good if you don't stretch yourself too thin, you know. You're doing what you can do best and what you really enjoy, and this is all what music should be about, right? And you putting it out, and people can find it. And if there is a need for it, or you really, you know, and people really ask you and bother you, please, let's play, then you can give it to them. And because then, you know, you have to plan a little bit, like, you know, with your families, and also with a drummer and a live setup and blah blah blah, all this stuff. But as long as there's no need, you know, don't in the field where I work is you learn that solve a problem once it's there, you know. I mean, sometimes you can see it coming, and then you can, you know, already find ways to solve it. But if it's not, you know, if it never becomes a problem, why fix it, you know?
Sure.
But this brings me to the next point, and I have to admit I'm not really prepared here. Videos. did you do any videos for your songs? Because this could be also something, you know, you can enjoy, and you have kind of a performance without going away, you know?
Sure. I've always wanted to. I've had ideas based on the lyrics for several songs, especially "War with You." We had that. We wanted to. Why didn't we?
I'm asking you. I see.
His brother's actually, he does film. He's a director.
Yeah, and you make film music. You should know tons of people to help you out. I mean, you have no excuse.
Yeah. No, that's definitely something. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, money.
Yeah, that would be the main reason, honestly, money. And what we mean by that is maybe to a fault, we don't like to do things unless we can do them very well.
Perfect.
Right. And of course, you can pull together, especially with technology these days, you could pull together something with a little low budget and do something low budget. And maybe we should be doing that. Maybe we shouldn't be so tough on ourselves, set, you know, such high standards. But because we haven't had the funds to do a quote unquote great video, we decided to look, if we can't do this 100% the right way, let's not do it. Again, maybe to a fault. Maybe we should be a little more flexible and be okay with something a little more low budget. And we might just do that moving forward, because that's definitely something, Tobias, that we have talked about, doing music videos. Again, he writes the lyrics, and he certainly has themes and ideas that he'd like to see.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you write film music, you also have kind of like a cinematic mind, kind of, because you paint the landscape just with you know, noises, or, you know, with sound, and so you I'm pretty sure you have pictures in your head if you play your music, and you know, okay.
Even when it's just instrumental, you tie images to the melody because it's mood.
Yeah.
Melodies get a mood, and they have to tie into the image, whether it's a TV show or whatever. And I mean, I don't know, man. When it comes to something with lyrics, it's so precise, especially since I wrote most of the lyrics, or all the lyrics, and I want that picture exactly the way I wrote it. And if it's not possible, it's better to just not do it.
Okay, that's a point I get, because because you have like this vision in your head, and if you cannot get it there, you rather don't do it. I get it. So the other day I was talking with another band, and they kind of did completely the opposite approach, and because, I mean, they said, you know, they had 14 songs on their album, and they did 14 videos. And I told them, hey, but wait, there's a payoff here. And they said, yeah, and I said, okay, but they're not that great, you know, kind of like in the studio, like a little camera thing and stuff. Yeah, we know, but there is a video for each song, and it worked. And so, I mean, check them out. It's Calabrese. It's really cool music. But and I get their point as well. So I mean, I get your point. I'm just kind of saying, you know, you could also sway it to the other side. And even if you do let's say in your mind, a subpar video, it will be still better than most of the other crap that is out there. You know, this is you know, you would still be above the heap of other things that people consider videos, you know? I mean,
video, come on.
Pardon me?
Yeah, on that. And again, we do have the resources. My brother, right? You know, we're extremely tight, as most brothers are, but, you know, we really are very close. He's a filmmaker. Right? You have that to go. You
have no excuse anymore after this talk here.
But, you know, I think all three of us two and my brother also, to a fault, we need to maybe be a little more realistic, and sometimes you're a little more flexible and lower the standards, because even my brother's the same. Okay, let's do a video that's fun. We need this budget so we can hit this level, as opposed to, you know what, maybe it's okay to lower it down and do it a little better. That's definitely an ongoing conversation and something that we need to look at. I can guarantee you we're not going to do 14 videos. But
no, I don't. You know, it was just it was kind of an exaggeration from the other end. You know, I don't want you to you know, it's kind of put the pendulum in the middle, not doing 14 but not doing 0. You know, kind of doing more than 0.
Sure. Agreed 100%. You're right. 100%.
Yeah, and no, I'm kind of like a micro influencer. So I'm kind of I'm a radio DJ, and I'm the thing I find interesting here is. I mean, we can talk about this. Maybe I can see your perspective. The problem is, today everyone can do music, right? So there is a lot of crap out there, and I can tell you, I get as a DJ, I get a lot of not so good songs. Yeah, and some people can even, they cannot sing, but they can do it on their iPhone and send me a song, and I don't like that.
Yeah, we feel for you, man. I can't imagine. I admire what you do. Thank you for doing what you do. Seriously.
Yeah, I still love it. I'm not. What I wanted to say is bringing it back to the video. In a way, we are kind of in the same boat. I want to. I create content. I do my radio show. I do this, the video podcast and stuff. So. I think this is a worthwhile endeavor, and I want people to listen to it and people to find it and people to discover the bands I like, and because I only talk with bands I like, so it's for me it's a pleasure. I'm a fan, so but in order to do that, I kind of need to get above the heap, and there is I can do ads, Instagram ads and Facebook ads and stuff, and I'm doing a little bit of all of it. And now going back to you, and this is what I think a band needs to do today as well, not just doing music, but also having a video and things that you always can kind of I don't know. Some bands told me that they do one song per month, to kind of always have a single out, that always something new pops up, that your subscribers see it, and here's a new, and you can put it on your Instagram. Oh, we just put out this, and then this is the new artwork. I mean, it sucks in a way, but in the other way, if you don't do it, you kind of fall flat. There's so many fish in the pond, or I don't know how you say it, but you get my point, I guess.
Yeah.
We should record ourselves during the sessions more. We have content like that.
Yeah. We've talked about that as well. We definitely so far followed the more traditional way of approaching it, but that's something we talked about and gotten a little more and more flexible as time goes on. For example, this last release is 6 songs, as opposed to when we started, we're like, no, we're only going to do it old school. 11, 12, 13 tracks, and the first album was out. Now we said, no, okay, let's go with 6. And we talked about, again, putting out singles now and then.
And even a cover.
Or even a cover now and then.
Exactly.
That we do in the studio, but still
or a collaboration, other bands and other artists who can kind of remix a song of yours, or you can remix one of them in the Chuparuba style, so things can spiral out of proportion.
I would love to hear somebody try to do something with one of our songs.
Yeah, that would be an interesting experiment.
I'm curious.
No, we definitely, it's 2020, right? This is not the old days where you do an album every 3-4 years and try to play it live as much as possible. There's no doubt that you need to stay, quote unquote, relevant out there, putting out content in social media, etc., releasing things more often. And I think there has been a switch for us in that regard and recently, whereas opposed to 3-4 years ago when we started, we were kind of following the old school way. But no, we got to agree with you 100%. And again, like I said, we just released this album. Well, guess what? The next one is in the works. And before we release that, we're probably going to do a cover to release somewhere in February or March, so that we don't stay too long without a release. So
we already started recording 2 covers. We got the material. We just got to finish it off.
Yep.
So releasing one by one.
Yep.
Okay, there I have another question, but just to finish the whole video thing, because if you think about creating content, when you do a video, you can also have someone to do the behind the scenes footage, and then you can each day or each week on Instagram you can put, oh, look what we did, and here is how I did this, and the camera worked from this angle, and blah blah blah. You kind of create content just more content than just the video and the work on it, or you can film yourself, just working on this new song, or this is the cover from, and just listen to this little snippet, or what, all this stuff. If you make it right, you get a lot of stuff out of just one video or one little thing you do. This brings me to another question, because you just said something very interesting. You just have to finish it. So this is a question I always ask to people who kind of mix and produce their own stuff. How do you find the end point when something is finished? Because this, I'm pretty sure, is not easy, because it's never easy for anyone. How do you decide that it's gone, done? No, not gone, but done.
That's a constant battle in your head. Sometimes you feel it's done, and then it takes you 3-4 more weeks to actually feel that it is. And I don't know, it's just tough. I changed things for months on a single song before I'm happy.
Yeah, it can take quite a while.
You're faster a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a little faster. And I really don't know how to explain why that is the case. We complement each other very well, but we definitely have different ways of going about it. However, fortunately, besides having the studio that we're in right now, we both have home studios, right? So normally, I'm working from home, he's working from home, we share files, then we get together once a week, twice a week, let's actually work on it together, so on and so on. And there is no one way of doing it. Some songs are done one way, and other songs are done the other way. But it's kind of, you've heard this expression about when you find somebody that you love, you know when you know. Well, for us, finishing songs is, we know when it's done, when we know. Like when it gets there and it just feels right, and it doesn't matter where you're listening to, in the studio, in the car, in your earphones, and you have no complaints. Now you know you're done. Otherwise, there's still something else to do there.
Yeah. But is it really to the point that you have no complaints? I
don't think I've ever been 100%.
Yeah, I think so. There's always something you could do better. So I get your point. I don't want to say this is not the case. I see what you mean. It's kind of like if you're like, oh, no, it's fine like this. A song is usually just a snapshot in time. You kind of freeze it. This is as it is at the moment, and then I put it away. But as he said. He's still not finished and let it lie for another 5 weeks and then revisits it and still tuning on it. So he has a different way of it. So I'm not like, he seems not to fall in love like you do.
Yeah, he is pretty tough on himself. Yeah, he's really, really picky. Now, to your point, though, I think when you really can tell it's never done, it's when you let it lie there. Matter of fact, just before we got on this conversation, we were giving each other feedback about the feedback we got from the album, right? And we were talking about how, when we finish the album, there's always a time period where you're preparing the artwork, you're submitting for distribution, et cetera, et cetera. So you're not really listening to the music anymore. And then you hear it again. And on the one hand, sometimes you go, wow, I like that even better than I did when I wrote it. And sometimes you go, you know what? We could have done something a little different with this one because you got separation from the song and now you hear it more objectively, right?
Yep.
But I mean, when I say that you're happy with it, I mean that there's nothing definitely that's bothering you for sure, 100%, right? Because if there's something bothering us, you would agree.
It's not gonna go through.
Yeah, we're not putting it out.
And if it takes a month to figure it out.
Yeah, it's got to get to the point where we're really happy with it. Otherwise, we're not putting it out.
And you both have to be very happy with it, of course, So
we agree way too much. It's crazy. We're actually usually almost always on the same page.
Yeah, we might have to get a new member just to disagree with us.
So just a little bigger, Come on, fight with that.
Yeah.
And do you let it let your your family listen to it, or do you have some specific friends you kind of ask for feedback, or are you so self-contained that you can do it?
Drummer,
you mean before it's being released, we show it maybe to one person?
Yeah,
we don't show it around.
Not too much. As a matter of fact, to that point as well, we should do that more because we were just talking about that earlier. The most love we've gotten for this last album, the more positive feedback, et cetera, it's from the last track on the album, which obviously it's on the album because we love. If now we wouldn't have put it on there, but we didn't see that coming, right? We didn't expect it to. Perhaps had we shown it to a lot more people prior to releasing it, it would have been obvious to us, wait a minute, there's something special there, even more special than we thought compared to the other songs. So no, we don't show it to a whole lot of people. It's really more about, are you 100% happy on this? Am I 100% happy?
Yeah, we're good.
If we're good, we satisfy ourselves, we're good. You know, again, maybe to a fault. Now, the drummers, again, if there isn't an official third member, that's always the drummer, because this is rock music after all, right? Most of the music that we do in the studio, whether it's for film or the projects that I produce, we kind of take care of everything ourselves. But for this project, we always insist, wait, this is rock music. We want to keep a certain organic element to it. We want a real drummer in the room. And that does help us in that that's another person that's going to react to it in a different way. Obviously, the way they drum is going to bring something else.
Exactly. It brings a new thing in it, but you cannot even, you know. Yeah, exactly. Because this is their special domain. And I always like this in a band context, you know, that you have an idea and it will morph to something new. It will evolve to something, because just you cannot think of what somebody else gets inspired by this track, or you know. And then of course you have an idea, I'm pretty sure, that the drum should be like this and this and that, but even if you give it to him, he will still drum it differently, you know. It's like for a long time, I couldn't get it that if you play a cantate from Bach or something, you know, it's written there how it's played, but you still can find ways of how to play it differently, you know, how you hit the notes, how you touch it, how you temperate your piano or whatever. So, you know, there's something between the notes that kind of gets in this. So I'm completely agreeing with you. Rock music should be having a live drummer. Even, you know, I like also industrial metal, you know, where you have like stomping sounds and, you know, just, you know, techno things. I like this too, but it's a different kind of music, you know. So I'm quite all over the place music-wise, but that's just me.
We're actually with you. We're just like you are. We talked about that earlier too. You know, listening to your playlist on Spotify, definitely. Trust me when I say we have the same taste. For the most part, we're influenced by a lot of the same music, which I guess explains, you know, and thank you for having us, that you like our music, because we probably listen to a lot of the same type of music. Even if our music is not too far industrial, for example, we listen to a whole lot of music.
I've been listening to KMFDM for a good almost 3 decades.
Oh yeah, KMFDM is really cool stuff.
I was a kid, Skinny Puppy too, like any dark industrial, especially when they mixed guitars and they got a little heavier. All the metal industrial bands, we grew up on it.
Yep. But to bring it back to the drummer point with that, probably, you know, prior to giving the song to the drummer or bringing him into the studio, it probably leans a little more industrial electronic, because after all, when you're doing drums on a computer, it's going to have more of a digital feel than an organic real drummer feel. And that's why it's so exciting when you bring in a drummer. It's not that he's just playing what we wrote. What we write on drums is kind of a ballpark. Look, we're here. Obviously, you're not going to go all the way out there. But then all of a sudden, he says, well, what about this? And man, is that
exactly.
When they give a change up and you go, whoa, we didn't even think of our own song like that. And it takes it in a whole different
direction. And then the next day, I find myself editing a bass line to suit that new drum part. Right.
Exactly. This is exactly what I mean. That's the best thing that can happen, that you kind of, how you say, you get new, there's a better word for it, but I cannot think of it. You get new ideas, you know, you get things that you have never dreamt of. But okay, so just to close this thing, because I had another question popping up. So in a way, you kind of are so. And I don't mean it in a bad way. You're kind of so self-reliant that you kind of know when a thing is finished, so you don't need feedback from someone else, or you don't rely on it. And I can understand this as well, because it's not easy to get honest feedback. You know, most people, you know, will tell you, "Oh yeah, this sounds nice," you know, nice, or whatever, you know.
Good job.
Yeah, exactly. Good job. Well done, you know, you did it well, but we don't really listen to it, you know. But and on the other hand, there's also the problem if you give it to people who are too much entrenched into this music making, then they're kind of like, you know, this bass line, you could be a little bit a tad this, or maybe 1 BPM more, and this is not what the song is about. You know, we kind of dissect the song, the music. We don't listen to the music. We listen to the instrument, to the thing. You know what I mean? They're not listening. A normal person, yeah. And you know a lot of normal persons as well. We just listen to the music, and they don't care how you did it. They care only if it makes them move, or if it, you know, connects with them. That's the important thing. You know, what music is doing. But a musical person who also is producing and stuff, they kind of like, yeah, you know, there's a little time difference. Yeah, they're nitpicky, and this is, I have to admit, I remember, like, but it's a long time ago, when I was really starting with music myself. I'm a bass player, by the way, with the music myself. When I was also standing in front of a stage and like, oh, now he missed a note, and I was so proud that I could tell, you know, that he kind of missed a beat or something. But now I'm like, who the fuck cares? You know, if the music is correct, and if the feeling, that's the thing. If the feeling is good in there, you know, then this is all that music should do. And it doesn't really matter if you do it with a hurdy-gurdy or with a keyboard, you know. It's just, the music is the essence of the whole thing. Sure. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling off here.
You're 100% correct, and that's what I meant by if it feels right. You know, like we know when it's right because it feels right, and we're not getting anything off. Now, you know, what you were saying, that I was thinking that most of our friends are probably musicians.
Yeah, so it's a little bit tougher to get honest feedback or good feedback, right. You know, good criticism.
Sure. So there is a difference between the circle around us, the feedback that they're giving us, you know, when we show them the music that's in the works, and then once we actually put it out, and, you know, quote unquote, like you say, normal people, that is non-musicians, hear it, they don't react the way we do as musicians, and that's when you really know. That's when you really know. Okay, generally speaking, this song is eliciting that feeling or that emotion or etc. So, you know, to me, it's an exciting time. Okay, we know how we feel about it. But, you know, we put enough music out now where I'm always curious, how is this going to be received? How I view it, how I hear it, how he hears it, or guess what? No, totally, completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, but on the, you know, in the end, you make music for the normal people. That's, yeah. So the musicians, they always can find things in there and stuff, and it's fine. You know, it's kind of it comes with the territory. If you are entrenched in this, and if you do a lot of that, you cannot. You don't have really fresh, open ears. You know, it's a, how you say, it's a job problem you have, because you're doing your own thing, and then you also dissect others, and that's normal. So I also have to kind of, you know, when I listen to music or when I do my radio show or so, when I kind of change my mindset, and when I, you know, want to produce something or do something, then I have to change as well too, because then it's something else. And so, anyway, you're doing music for the normal people, and it's not always easy to get critical feedback from your surroundings, because you're also in a little bubble, I guess, you know, you're surrounding yourself, but you're aware of it, and that's the first step to, you know, to get beyond. Or maybe ask your spouses or something. That's the funny part with me, you know. I don't want to talk too much about me, but my spouse, she is into K-pop, so we have nothing in common music-wise. It's completely, we cannot connect here. But it's fine. I still love her, you know. It's fine, but I cannot ask her for criticism anyway.
I gotta tell you, I'm with you. I've been married now for a very long time. Got nothing but beautiful things to say about my wife. However, I do not go to her for feedback. There will be no point in doing that, because trust me, when I get in her car, I turn on the radio, Chuparuba ain't gonna be playing. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah,
that's okay.
But I still think, you know, and this I don't mean in any disrespectful way, that Chuparuba still has some mainstream appeal. You know, it's not so far. I mean, I told you this before. I'm not so much into swearing into the lyrics, you know. And you have like one song, it's kind of "fuck you" or something. It's called the name.
Don't fuck it up, the whole thing.
Fuck it up, exactly. Fuck it up. So I'm not so much into it. I don't mind, you know. I don't mind swearing and so, but for me it's more like, you know, young bands and punk bands. They kind of you know they do it, and I, this is my personal opinion, of course, think that you can kind of talk a little bit around it. You don't need to use these languages, these words to get an impact, you know. So this kind of is speaking against your mainstream appeal, but I think you still have, you kind of a nice, you walk a nice balance between not being too in Deutsch sagt man beliebig, not being too that it doesn't grip you, but also not too much in your face, you know, that it kind of you have a nice thing of doing things. Because before our talk, I listened to your music, so to get into the mood, and it's nice. It's not too, how you say, too demanding, and I don't mean it in a bad way. You know, it's not kind of not too rousing, but also not too soft and shallow that it doesn't rouse you. But it's not. It kind of plays with it a little bit. You know, sometimes I get a punch from some of the songs, and sometimes it gets a little bit more like, oh yeah, that's just, you know, enjoyable. I kind of don't know really what I want to say. What I'm basically want to say is you have a mainstream appeal, but you're not too a boring pop star. Let's put it this way, you know, pop music kind of stuff.
Well, I don't know.
The format of War With You is very pop, and it's pretty straightforward. When we do it like that, we just focus on the mood and the texture, and we actually intended for it to be a acceptable song,
right? More mainstream, to put it
Mm-hmm.
into. Well, here's the thing, right? We sometimes have conversations about that. War With You, track number 2 on the new album, will be a good example of that, where we're not going to do anything we don't love. However, we are a little more conscious on a track like that about keeping a format a little more traditional, mainstream, safe, whatever you want to call it, as long as, again, it still pleases us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we want to do that on 1 or 2 songs on the album, right? But for the most part, we're not writing with that mentality, right?
Yes,
we're not sitting down and saying, we got to please the audience.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get ourselves in a place where we're happy with it, where we're getting ourselves excited about the music. And then whatever that means, if that's something that's safe, great. If that's something that's not safe, great.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like lyrical content, you know, I'll let Manny speak to that. But you can correct me if I'm wrong, but he's also not sitting there and saying, I need to do things that are going to shock people, or I'm going to do things that are not going to shock people. I'm pretty sure, and I've known him for 20 years now, he's just being honest and writing
Mm-hmm.
whatever it fits. And if that means you got to say fuck it up 50 times in a song, is that? Or if you actually listen to most of our music, it doesn't have profanity.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. No. It was just like, because I really liked the song. I mean, I like your music, but this song I liked in particular, and it was like, oh man, why did you call it "Fuck It Up"? So, you know, it's a little bit. You have to see, from me as a DJ perspective, the first thing I'm going to see is the artwork and the title, and it's like, "Fuck It Up." This sounds for me like a punk rock song from 18 years old angsty teenagers who are like, you know, but it's not. I know that, but it's just kind of like, this is the first thing this pops in my head, and it was like, oh man, that's such a nice song, and you not ruined it, but you kind of tainted it a little bit.
For sure. We have nothing wrong. We don't feel bad about that.
No, and see, now, you know, going to the meta things, this is actually something good in a way, because you kind of got me let's phrase it differently. This is kind of a little bit what art should do, right? It should kind of get you out of your comfort zone and kind of let you connect with something more than there is, or, you know, gives you some food for thought, you know, but you let you think about things. And I was I was a little bit, oh man, why did you call it this way? But then if you get there, then you still can appreciate it, and you kind of get out of your comfort zone, and I still put it in my playlist, and I still play it on my radio show and stuff. So because I like it so much, and I kind of have to. I went over my own hurdles I put in front of me, and this is kind of what art should do. Yeah, I don't want to over analyze it, but it should push you out of your comfort zone and kind of revisit yourself and look in the mirror and see, this is. Do I need these rules I put around me because they're just arbitrary? They're just put up, and I know this song will not be played on mainstream radio in the US because you're so kind of fucked up. I don't know. This is, with this whole, for me as a German, this is so funny when the bleeping things like, people know exactly what you're saying, and you're bleeping it. You can leave it in. What the heck? What the fuck? It really makes no sense to censor this, and as if this song, this word makes it so bad, I can swear without using any swear words, and I can insult people without using any insults. It's anyway. Sorry, I'm getting off a topic, but I actually like that you kicked me in the butt with the song because I like it, and you got me off my high horse and like. Let me reconsider, and that's how art should be.
Yeah, I think, and again, if I may, Manny takes care of the lyrics, so correct me if I'm wrong. I think if it worked for you, it's because it was honest. It wasn't, let's say, fuck it up.
It was kind of silly too.
To shock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But the point is, you're not sitting there. You're not trying to shock. Am I wrong?
It's not even aggressive. It's just.
Exactly, it was not aggressive at all. So there was a dichotomy of the words with the music. It kind of, but it made me think. It made me kind of get off my high horse and say, it's cool. I like it. Let's do it.
One last thing I'll say about the song is we liked it a lot too, and we thought a lot of it has single on it. However, we had two options. Are we going to do a safe version of this where you switch up the words or beep it out? And we're so turned off by that idea. And we said, just leave it on the album. Don't worry about releasing it as a single. Whoever's going to like it is going to like it. And whoever's not going to like it is not going to like it. But we don't want to do a version that's not honest.
Yeah, a radio-friendly version or something.
Yeah, that wasn't going to work. It was going to contradict the whole song in itself. So just leave it alone. Let's move on and write another one. And again, most of our music, even if it has sexual or dirtier content, for lack of a better expression, does not necessarily have profanity or swear words,
Yeah, this is. I can compare it a little bit. Like I said, I'm in Germany, so in Germany we don't have any big issues with nudity. You can see it on TV, and you can see naked bodies. It's quite fine and all right, no problem here. But where we have a problem is violence. So a lot of really grim horror movies are cut, and then I always hated this because it's kind of like the person who made the music the movie wanted to put this in, and it has a certain effect if you cut out things because it grosses you out. It kind of it's a message from the movie maker who wanted to put it in like this. Of course, sometimes it's really graphic, like the Saw movies. They kind of like torture porn, like we call it now. It's gratuitous. It's just thrown in there to rave up the audience. No, how you say it? To raise up the audience to. Rev up the audience, exactly. But if you cut it, and the movie maker really intended it to be like this, and you cut out a scene just because you think it's too graphic, you neuter the movie, you alter the movie, and so it's the same with the music. If you put it in, not just to kind of rev up the audience and to kind of get look how crazy we are and we use these words, oh, you know, when you have a point there and you want to you don't do it just to be exciting or to have an explicit cover on your CD or album or whatever, and when you have a point there, so it's legitimate to do that and to let the artist present his work like he intended it to do, without any alterations. That's my point, basically, with so many words.
We would agree 100% with that. Again, we don't work with that mentality of we want to do this, but let's not do it because it's not going to be received well. No, you know, you don't like it, don't listen to it. Yeah, if it feels right, it feels right. That's how I've always done it. Again, maybe to a fault, but that's definitely how we do it. I did not know that about Germany, as a matter of fact, right? I think we were both surprised about that.
Yep.
That, you know, you guys are more sensitive when it comes to the violence. I would say that on television, we might be a little backwards here, right?
It's exact opposite. We're very centered on sexual content.
Exactly. We're completely... Yeah, exactly. You have a lot of violence, and we have a lot of nudity and sexual content, but very little violence. But to be honest, I like more the sexual content. I can go without. You should move to Germany.
Maybe.
I was going to follow up on that. I was going to say, I think you got it right, because after all, you know, we're all humans, and that's a very normal thing to do, right? Anything relating to sexual content, for the most part, anyways, will probably be part of regular human behavior. Where really violent things, obviously, you know, human behavior includes violence, but not to the point where you're just doing something for the sake of shock, right? And at that point, to me, it becomes immature. So I don't know, maybe you guys got it right and we don't.
Yeah, I mean, right or wrong is maybe not applicable here. It's just we do it completely different than you guys. And there's also, I know in Amsterdam, there's a lot of violence is there and also a lot of sex. So we do it even righter, you could say, you know. You can buy love in the streets of Amsterdam. I lived there for a year, you know, so it's easy to find friends. So, but anyway, that's a different... let's not steer off too much. So I said what I wanted to say here. Maybe before, you're checking your watch. Do you still have some time?
No, we got time.
We got time.
Okay.
As a kid, looking out for it. That's it.
I see. Okay. What I would like to know, if you want to share a little bit, is so what is kind of your musical inspiration a little bit? I mean, the bands that influenced you to do, I mean, you already said KMFDM and other things. So what is your musical background? What kind of made you to become a musician or want to become a musician?
Well, that's all over the place. I mean, in our music, we mix genres within a song, and over the grand scheme of the whole album, it really goes all over the place. But main influences are Faith No More or anything that might...
Oh, exactly. I was just thinking about them because this is, you know, the first crossover. I love Faith No More. I saw them live.
We haven't.
Great band.
We haven't. We live in South Florida, and whenever they do tour, they don't come down here. So we're just gonna have to jump on a plane eventually to be able to see them.
Yeah.
But no, go ahead, because you got a lot.
But yeah, Mike Pan or any project he's in, Mr. Bungle was a big, especially the California album. We jump genres just like they do on that album. Oingo Boingo. I love Danny Elfman, both as when I'm doing music for film and TV, or when I'm doing stuff for the band Chuparuba. I like Oingo Boingo a lot.
Yep.
Rammstein is a big influence when it comes to the heavier side, the metal. We like the way the Rammstein, you know, metal sounds, so we do that, and we mix it with the electronic side, which they do, but we do more electronic than Rammstein. We do more like KMFDM amount of electronic.
Right, a different style, but we do put a lot of elements in there.
Floyd,
yeah, it's all over the place. I mean, honestly, we could be at it for hours. We're not just saying that. I know it's easy to say that, oh, we have so many influences. No, we really do. And it's not like we follow one specific type of music, and we were always like that, right? Back in high school, we were listening to Floyd, KMFDM, you know, definitely the alternative 90s is definitely a huge influence.
Queens of the Stone Age is all over most
of
our
yeah, we're huge Queen of the Stone Age fans. So I mean, we could be at it for a while talking about that, but I would say that we kind of combine a lot of 90s and 2000s rock that we grew up with other more electronic stuff or industrial acts. And then on top of that, put in the cinematic element, like you said earlier. We both listen to, we're big fans of Danny Elfman, Hans Zimmer, you know, all that good stuff that you see on film. And then put it in there, mix it up, and see what comes out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, usually, you know, I told you beforehand that I don't call it an interview because this is actually a silly question, you know, to ask a musician, or an artist. So what inspires you? You know, everything inspires you. I mean, your biography, you got, I just wanted to know where your, you know, the steps that kind of made you to the person you are a little bit. So, yeah.
What are you hearing us? What bands have you tied to us when you heard us?
I'm honestly, I'm a little bit more rock leaning when I hear you. I heard Queens of the Stone Age. This was kind of influenced because it has, you know, the dirty bass and stuff you sometimes have in there. I really like that. That's kind of my thing. I have to admit, I didn't hear KMFDM. That's
No, I think what Manny said about that was in terms of putting together the rock music with electronic music, but not in the way they do it. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not in the way they do it, just in the sense of we don't have hard rules for, no, we can't put a synth in here.
Mm-hmm.
We can't
or
put
a heavy metal riff
out.
on top of a techno.
Right.
Exactly, and this is exactly how it should be. You know, you don't want to be a copycat and like, oh, we want to sound like this or that. You just, I mean, this is what you should. I mean, you're doing it right in a way. You pick from each one. You pick what you like and make it your own, because this is how new music happens. You know, I hate sometimes I talk with death metal guys and, oh, this is not true death metal. So what the fuck, you know? I mean, what is true? If we would play true rock and roll, then we still would play, you know, blues music and rock and roll. There would be no deviation. There would be no blues, hard rock, and you know, all the things that kind of led to the music we have now, to the many subgenres, because it's not true. What the heck is true here?
I'm trying to be true. Nobody should be trying to be true.
Exactly.
Being themselves and being influenced by many different things to create something new. If it's already there, don't do it. Somebody already did something else.
Mm-hmm.
Be yourself and show your influences all over.
Yeah,
exactly.
Also, what I'll add to that is, I think that's where us being producers and studio junkies kind of works in our favor, because as opposed to being a more traditional rock band where I'm holding a guitar, he's holding a bass, and these are the elements that are going to go into every song, we have an infinite amount of sounds that we can access in the studio. So we really, I mean, it can sound a little corny, but I mean it when I say we don't limit ourselves. If it's a rock guitar that needs to be on there, put a rock guitar. If it's a horn, put a horn. If it's a synth, put a synth. And that's, I think, why we have so much fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because not always the same elements that are going to cook up the same, song. So
exactly, and this is how it should be. You should be happy with what you're doing, you know, and not repeating yourself. I'm a little bit. I can only give you my perspective. I like a little bit of both, because sometimes I don't like, you know, sometimes I start a song and I can see, okay, I know exactly where it's going. I know this is coming, and then comes a drop down, and then comes this, and this. You know, you can kind of foresee everything. And sometimes I'm really bored by that. But if it's well done, I really like it as well, because it's also it's a familiarity you have with a structure, you know, or, you know, I like goth music, for example, and sometimes I can, you know, you can hear miles away how this song will go, you know. It's fun too sometimes, but sometimes I'm kind of like, oh, this is so boring, because I see exactly where it will go like this, and so I'm a little bit torn on this thing. I get, you know, don't repeat yourself and make things differently, and use the influences you have to mix them up and make something new, absolutely. But sometimes going a well-trodden path is also not such a bad thing, because if you do it with the right intention, let's maybe put it this way, if you do it with a with not like, okay, I want to sound exactly like this band or this thing, but I want to make a music, a song in this vein, you know, like Cure or whatever, you know, that kind of has a very specific sound. So then it's still fine if the people can glimpse the intention in your music, and that you're not just a copycat, but you're trying, you know, like I'm really looking forward what you will cover, because I want to hear how you cover things in a Chuparuba way. You know, this will be very interesting, because you have now kind of your own sound set. You know, like you sound, and if you use this and put it on a song that is already there, and you know, it will be your sound and still a familiar song, but it will be still different. You know, like you said, Rammstein. I really like the stripped version from Rammstein. I'm a big Depeche Mode fan, of course, you know. Yeah. And if you hear stripped, they kind of, you still can hear the song, but it's so different. And it's still Rammstein. It's kind of, both worlds are together, you know. And this is the best thing you can do, that when you get a glimpse of an original, and also your part, and you fuse it and you make it something new out of it. That's you know, the par excellence part of this endeavor.
Yeah, exactly. We did Midlife Crisis, which is the cover we...
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Is it already out?
It's out. We put it, actually, that was between album 1 and 2. There was a little bit bigger of a gap than we anticipated. And we said, let's put this out there. So yeah, if you look up Midlife Crisis,
okay, I will check it. I will put it in my playlist, maybe most likely right away, because I like the song, the original, and I think I will like it in your version even more. I'm going to check it out after this talk.
I think with that song, I don't know. I'm not sure. We'll see, right? That's what's exciting about music. You might have plans, but then those songs take a different direction. I think with that song, we stuck pretty close.
We're pretty close. We just changed most of the instrumentation approach to it.
Right. It's not a totally different take on it. But I'll tell you what I do like about that type of workflow. It's like you were talking about earlier. It gets you outside of your comfort zone, because as opposed to doing what you're comfortable with doing, oh, wait a minute, I wouldn't never written a melody like that. How are they doing it? And trying to figure out how to do it yourself. Sure. You're kind of learning. Now you're learning tricks. So that is pretty cool. And we're just huge Faith No More fans, and we did it for fun.
Exactly, it kind of enhances your ability to make your own music, because you get you know, things from other musicians, and you know, and you can use it for your own stuff as well. I you know, just checking the time, so, and we're a little bit over an hour now. That's fine, but you know, I will have to go to my family soon for dinner here. You're at the afternoon stage, right? You're in
just turned noon, 12:20.
Okay, right, yeah. So it's the noon stage. I usually like to ask this, and of course, the funny things I like to hear from you is when you are you have played in other bands, I take it, right?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
And so you were on stage with these other bands. Were there any funny stage antics, stories you can tell from that?
Yeah, I remember right away. One time my guitar strap fell. And I was singing. I was on the mic and had my strap. I was playing guitar, and the strap fell, and I had to go down to the floor almost to pick up my guitar.
Yeah.
But you didn't drop a beat, huh?
We come right back into it, and you keep going.
Yeah. I want to tell you one that I'll be shocked if you remember, but you were involved in this, right? So this was a long time ago, a band that I had, and we were without a bassist for a few weeks. I said, Manny, please fill in. Please, you got this. Come on. Maybe it wasn't too much of a style of music, but he was filling in for a couple of shows. And I remember the drummer, the kick started coming off of where his drums was placed, you know, a bit of a riser, and it was literally just going to pop out and fall over. And I think I gave Manny a look, And basically, my look, he got it. He had to stand there for the rest of the show, put his
to hold the bass drum in place or what?
I knew you weren't gonna remember that, but I never forgot that because there you go. Now you're stuck playing the songs.
What was the venue? What venue was it?
Man, I don't remember the venue. It was in Fort Lauderdale. That's all I remember. But yeah, he had to, one leg up, play the rest of the show holding that kick down.
Okay, no, that's not bad. And the other question I like to ask, was there any starstruck moment where you shared the stage with somebody you really admired, or where you met someone who you really kind of are, look up to, some idol?
Not my biggest heroes, but I've met Slayer. Fear Factory.
Oh, but Slayer are quite some. Okay, not your heroes, but yeah, I think they're quite heroes.
They're thrash gods, but I wasn't like starstruck. Like, I don't think it matters. I think I might get that feeling if I see like Nick Cave or Peter Gabriel or Mike Patton.
Yeah, we've actually talked about that before. We're not. That's not right. Like, we're not starstruck type of guy. Of course, we would be. We would love to meet a lot of. Or the people that we listen to and influence us, but that's not something where we're like, we need to go to a show and try to see that person or try to play with that person. We're happy that they influence us. And
we'd love to be in a studio with one of those, though.
Sure, we would love to collaborate with them.
Yeah, with my patent, this would be cool. I mean, this would be really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be a dream, right? Collaborating, but in terms of just meeting them, that's not something we're search for a lot. Yeah.
I met Gnarls Barkley in Miami Beach.
Oh, Gnarls Barkley. I only know the one song, of course, but
Phil Green is his name. But I met the little guy. Gnarls Barkley was two guys.
I know CeeLo Green, but
CeeLo Green's the one at Miami Beach.
That tells you how far we go out in terms of different styles of music, right there.
No, but this is fine. I'm also, I don't know if you listen to my radio show, I'm all over the place. It's always a mixed bag between pop music and industrial metal and everything in between. You can hear in my show, because that's the nice thing I can do. I'm really fortunate. I can play whatever I want. Nobody has to listen to it, right? So it's really cool. I enjoy that. And there's still some feedback, I get from the fans, and usually they like it. And I know some are coming more from EBM on more, EDM and electronic music, and they still also like the rock stuff, and vice versa. The rockers like the electro stuff, because, yeah, I always thought I'm so niche in my taste, but maybe I'm not that niche. I'm also a simpleton if it comes to music. If you give it to me, okay, sorry, now I'm talking about myself. It's not about me, but just to close this thought, I really have problem with gent and too progressive music. If you change the rhythm every 7 seconds, and when I cannot, I like to headbang. Even if I have short hair now, but. I like to move, and I'm a simple guy. Like Rammstein is a good example. It's very simple drums, but it moves you, and it's still good music. And I don't need you to show me that you can play the guitar so well, or that you can play drums in right. 7 whatever things you can do there.
Dream Theater. I can't listen to Dream Theater anymore, and I used to worship them. I'm sick of it. Sometimes you just want to go straight forward and just feel something and enjoy a nice smooth ride.
I like it. I listen to quite a good amount of progressive music, but again, sometimes it feels honest to me. Like they're doing it because they love it, and sometimes it feels
pretentious. They're doing it
pretentious, right? Like over intellectual. We want to show you how
exactly.
complex. If it feels that way, I don't want to hear. I'll be lost. But if it sounds genuine, you're genuinely interested in that 7/8 pattern. I think I can tell the difference, or at least I perceive it that way.
Tool is the perfect balance with that in that world.
Yep.
They're really good musicians, but they have great textures and great rhythms, and they really paint a beautiful picture. Every song's a nice ride, but it's still very catchy.
Right.
Tool's a great balance.
Yeah, Tool is also exceptional band for me as well. So I mean, you see, it can work, but if it's too Yeah, if it's too much in your face and just want to show off, you know. I mean, you played in bands with how well I can play and look at me. When it's kind of like, no, I mean, I don't get it. You know, when there is no, yeah, it's not catchy. It's not. I always feel like the things you do should benefit the song, you know, and sometimes the song needs less of what you can do, and it's still a great song. And sometimes you can show off what you can do. But if you do it in every song, you know, like I played in bands as well, and I had a really good guitar player, but he needed to show how good he can play in every song, and it becomes tiring very fast.
Overwhelming, yeah.
Yeah, it gets annoying. And I think most people can tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, look, people can tell you're doing it. You need to hear yourself, right? You have this need to be, you know, the main thing going on, as opposed to what does the song need, right? What does the music need? So I think great musicianship is when you're a great musician who knows when to shine and when to not, right? And I think, yeah, we don't have that issue here. We basically go
We want
song
beautiful
by song.
melodies and good rhythms.
Yeah, we're trying to do pretty stuff, but not
Whatever
because
the section needs.
exactly, not to show off in any sort of way. We've never been those type of guys at all.
Yeah, I mean, this goes to, you know, if you would be a little bit more show-off-y when you would like to play live as much as possible, because then you can really shine and, you know, get the feedback and the adoration of the fans, because look how good we can play and stuff. But yeah, you seem very down to earth, and, you know, you're just doing your stuff and you'd enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I'll say on that is, you know, I grew up, you know, now we're producers in studios and using all sorts of stuff, but I grew up as a guitar player mainly, right? And I grew up idolizing a lot of those great guitar gods. And early on, in, you know, as a teenage, maybe early 20s, I maybe was focused on that for a little bit. And yet I'm proud to say that when we're doing this music here, have I ever said I need to do a guitar solo to show people I can do guitar solos? Matter of fact, we hardly have any guitar solos, if any at all. And I can play the guitar, right? But if the song needs it, we do it, and if it doesn't need it, we don't do it.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. If it calls for it, then do it. You know, when it fits the mood, and if it fits. But if you just do it to kind of you know, show off, then it's really off-putting, and people will know.
Me now of, we went to, and this is obviously the ultimate nerdy. Technical stuff to a G3 show, you know, which is just three guitar guys. Steve Vai, Satriani. No, right. No, I'm talking about another one. Maybe you didn't go to this one, and Ingrid Malmsteen was there.
I don't like Mainway.
Right? And I couldn't stand it. I just could not stand it. These are three extremely talented guitar players. They're all showing off, but yet with two of them, it feels genuine. And with this third guy over here, it feels like, look at me, please. Please keep looking at me, and I need to do antics.
Malmsteen, right?
Yeah, Malmsteen. And I can't stand it. And I can hear it. Even if you're just listening to, you close your eyes and you're listening to the music, you can hear a personality that needs attention.
His ego's running in front of everything.
You need attention, and I can hear it in your playing. I'm not going to give you my attention. I'm out.
No, that's exactly. But, you know, tying back to what we talked about earlier, you're making music for the normal people, you know. Of course, there is technical guys and musicians who really, he did this tapping technique, and people, normal people don't care about this, how you do it. They just want to know, you know, if it feels good to them, and that's all that counts in the music. I remember where I really, for the first time, this is, you know, I'm also a little bit older, as I got from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, this is the last album I bought ever on CD, Californication. And it was it's such a great record, but they don't, I mean, you clearly show what they can do, but they don't overdo it. It's sometimes really subdued and taken back, and it's just such a great thing because you know they are really good, but they don't show it and shove it in your face every time, you know, in every song. You would be turned off by it, but so it's really nice. It draws you in, and sometimes we shine, and, you know, and Flea, you know, I'm a bass player, so he's a really great bass player, but sometimes he just kind of does what the song needs to have to be a good song.
Flea will be the perfect example of an extremely talented musician who, if he just wanted to be a show-off, could be a show-off, but he's not interested in that.
I think Rick Rubin contributes to that too. because he knows how to organize, especially that band.
Sure. And by the way, one of the covers we're working on is a Red Hot Chili Pepper
that's
cover.
right.
Oh.
We were doing Oingo Boingo Gray Matter, and I forgot we were doing a Chili
We're
Pepper
doing a
song.
Red Hot Chili Pepper song. I mean, we'll see if it makes it or not. We're doing about different covers. Maybe one or two will make it and the other one won't, right? But there's one in the works. Yeah, we grew up Red Hot Chili Peppers fans as well. And yeah, they're a good example of a talented technical band who
It's still very artistic and very real.
Right, and doing catchy music.
Exactly, exactly. They really have this pop draw without being too, too poppy. I don't know how to put it. No, we're not pop stars, but we can be played in the radio. But we're still edgy. We still have an edge. It's not so. Yeah. Anyway, I like them too very well. But I'm gonna check out now your Fate No More cover. I'm gonna check this. So, guys, do you have any last words? I really enjoyed our talk, but I don't want to overstay my welcome. And you have things to do. You need to work on the next album. So, any last words to the audience?
Well, thank you for having us. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Very natural.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And we just hope everybody listens to the new album.
Yeah, that would sum it up. Thank you for having us. It's always nice to see that you put our music on your shows, on your playlist. We truly appreciate it. And especially because we can tell we have similar background and taste in music. So that's always a good feeling. It gives us, the energy to keep going. And yeah, no, other than that, working on more music, hopefully bring it to you very soon. And that's what we do, and that's about it. Thank you so much for having us. Appreciate it.
Okay, so thank you very much, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon.